What up? What up? What up? It's your boy ARP and Rare Breed Entertainment is the movement. I'm kind of getting into the groove. I'm seeing all y'all feedback. I'm getting y'all tweets. I'm checking out some of y'all comments on the channel and all that. I really, really appreciate y'all helping me kick off the new podcast and all that. Sorry It's True, the podcast. But this particular one right here, I guess you could kind of call this episode 2. I don't want to number my podcast because I want the ability to be able to, just drop random shows, almost still in a blog format, you know what I'm saying? But we still doing the podcast type setup. So you're gonna get, the long drawn out joints, the full episodes drop. But I'm also gonna release pieces and highlights and certain topics out of those full joints. I'm also gonna be doing lives as well. So right here, we're recording it. We're recording the podcast episodes, and I'm either chopping them up and I'm releasing them individually to the channel. I will be doing these live on the YouTube channel as well, so make sure y'all stay subscribed to the channel. At that point, I'll be letting the fans and all the followers chime in. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about a particular topic, I'll go back and forth with some of y'all in real time. So bear with me. You know what I'm saying? We just getting this going. I'm just starting this. Y'all know I've been blogging since 2010, maybe something like that. I don't know. I've been blogging for a very, very long time, but I'm new to trying this podcast format. So please bear with me, but I'm going to keep rolling the content out for y'all as I continue to perfect, you know what I'm saying, all the different types of releases and going live and connecting with all the supporters and all that. So I got y'all. We here. We working. Hove did. How many billionaires came from Hove crib? I count 3. Me, Ye, and Reed. Bronze or Rock Boy, so 4 technically. What? Yo, if that ain't one of the hardest lines of the year. I think when we think about hard lines and hard bars, we get caught up in only metaphors, the type of stuff that makes our eyebrows raise, the type of stuff that says, wow, I never would have thought that somebody could conjure up those words and that type of pattern or make me have that type of comparison or some type of double and triple entendre or whatever. That's typical because it provokes thought. Like, wow, I never looked at it that way. But when you just got that level of successful, I don't even want to call it shit talk, that level of successful, groundbreaking facts that you're just putting into rhyme patterns, it's ugly. It gets real. This is why Jay-Z is the GOAT, because he comes out with shit like that. And that's not record sales. That's not a Billboard accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? That's not some nomination to an award show, a Grammy or Oscar or Emmy or anything like that. The man is talking about how many billionaires have been connected to him in some form of capacity, whether they come through his promotion. I mean, we all used to remember Bron throwing up the rock and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? We know how Rihanna got her start. Ye, we know where Ye comes from. At the end of the day, it comes from Rockefeller. You could say Dame had a hand in, Jay had a hand in. No matter what, when they split, Ye chose to go with Jay. It is what it is. Years later, he becomes a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? My big brother, right? Those are Ye songs, Big Brother and all that type of shit. So it's incredible to just think about it. Think about this. Playing a hand in somebody becoming a thousandaire is significant. You could change somebody's life by helping them become a thousandaire. You got some people that's just asked out. They don't have no form of consistent income or whatever. If you gave them a job where they made $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, even in today's society, or I should say, even in today's economy, that could be life-changing. That could be life-changing. $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year could put a lot of people on their feet. A lot of people on their feet. So that's creating a thousandaire, though. What if you create 100,000 right? Now you're drastically changing somebody's quality of life. You're talking about, you start to move into a different market of homes, different type of livelihood, different type of surroundings, maybe different types of schools for your kids. Maybe your diet becomes different. You can eat a little bit more expensive and a little bit more healthy. Maybe you have things like health insurance, dental plans. Or you know how many people you probably know they don't got health insurance. If something happens to them, they can't go to the hospital and get themselves taken care of. Being able to take care of yourself and the type of livelihood that can be created for you if you are 100,000aire is what a lot of people would kill for, what a lot of people would trade a lot for and say, you know what, give me that, I'm good. Give me that, I'm straight. Thank you. Now talk about creating millionaires. I forget what song it was when Jay-Z was talking about the millionaires that he created. I forget what song it was, but I think he mentioned Siegel in that. And I think it ruffled Siegel's feathers a little bit at the time. If you remember that, he says something like, Siegel would tell you if he wasn't in his feelings, something like that. And he was just talking about all the millionaires around him and all the people that have made or amassed millions of dollars during their times of being affiliated with him. Major. I mean, hell, you could look at it this way. How many people are watching this video right now and can say that I have a millionaire in my phone? I know a millionaire personally. I can reach out to and speak with a millionaire. I could hit a millionaire up and ask for a favor. I could hit a millionaire up and say, yo, what you dealing with, man? Yo, let's go hang out. Let's go hit the club. A millionaire. Not a lot of people even know millionaires, let alone create or have a hand in people becoming millionaires. And I did all that build up to get to this God did bar from Hove. Billionaires now. That's why he can proudly only name 3 to 4 people, and it's still epic. Look how big of a news storyline is when we hear about these people becoming and crossing into being billionaires. When they officially announced that LeBron was a billionaire, everybody was talking about it. A lot of us were proud. I was proud as shit. I was just like, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. But it's news because to become a billionaire, that bar, man, is I could see why people want to argue, is this one of his best verses? Do I agree? No, because I mean, Jay-Z's got a catalog that you can't even remember half of it as far as classic songs or classic verses or classic moments that he's created in our culture and in hip hop and in music. You know, I can't even remember all of it. Like it's just crazy. Like he's the GOAT for a reason. But this verse is going to rank. This verse is not to be looked over or glossed over. The things that he's saying in it, because you also got to look at it like this. Biggie talked about this at one point too. So when you got his first album and he's talking about, you know, all his trials and tribulations and, you know, his come up and it's the type of shit he had to go through. He had an interview by the time he got to his double disc in the second album. Well, we know that he passed, but it was kind of in between after his first album when they was questioning his content, his lyrics and his songs and the type of things he was talking about, his topics. And he said, yo, I'm not living that life anymore. So I'm rapping about this stuff now. You know what I'm saying? I think Drake got a recent song where he says, I'm so rich, I'm my lyrics are no longer relatable or something like that. It was a crazy line. And when you think it's just shit talk, but when you look into it, these people's lifestyles and the success that they've amassed is so massive. Like we opened up about, it's not just your typical classic punchlines or metaphors. Sometimes just the reality of what is being said or the factual premise of what is being said, you have to just sit back and say, that's incredible. That's incredible. And if you put it in the style or the format or the kind of delivery of shit talk, you can't hate. You can't hate. You got to digest that. You got to live with that. If you look at some of those things, and you're like, just because he's talking about all these cars and yachts and houses or billions of dollars or whatever, you got that type of perspective on things. Like when you hear somebody talking about those type of accomplishments, that's where your mind goes first. My mind goes elsewhere first. My mind goes like, wow, I feel like he's giving game. I feel like it's just another reminder, a classic reminder of what's achievable, of how much it takes to become that, how much work goes in to become that, especially when a lot of y'all want it overnight anyway. But that's a whole different topic. We could say that for a whole different segment. And speaking of song reactions, while we're here real quick, even my brother hits me up. He's like, yo, what's your thoughts on this game? The Game versus Eminem thing, right? Now, I haven't been as close to it as I would once upon a time, you know what I'm saying? Because when there was any of our major rappers going back and forth, like our real prestigious, accomplished rappers going, you know what I'm saying, shot for shot, I knew everything. I don't care if it was even at the mixtape level. I don't care if we was talking about Drama Kings. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to K Slay, rest in peace. But I was so in tune. I kind of came late to this game song. And here's probably why I came late. The first thing that I started to hear about was, he's going at Eminem. And I think there was some call outs prior to that. Like, I think I'm a better rapper than Eminem or something like that. I was hearing those rumblings. You see it on social media, you hear it, you know, jump by real quick. And I kind of just took that as it's game. You know what I'm saying? It's game. Off rip, it's not something that's gonna just snap my attention and make me jump through hoops. Because off rip, I don't think that Game is a better rapper than Eminem. So we already stopped that energy as far as me saying, Game is about to try to prove that he's a better rapper than Eminem. I don't think that he can prove that because I already have decided, at least for me personally, in my opinion, that Eminem is a better rapper than Game. So that didn't really create the excitement within me. Then you got this other element. And shout out to Game, man. I'll fuck with Game. I'll DM back and forth a couple times with Game talking about him battle rapping. You know what I'm saying? He watches RBE and I'll fuck with Game his whole career. I gotta lay that out there because sometimes when you give your opinion, it's easy to misconstrue or to just take that as, oh, you going at somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like we watch that happen with people all the time. Like God forbid you have an opinion. God forbid you keeping it honest and keeping it real with yourself. But Game has had some controversial rollouts multiple times, right? Keep me honest with my dates, but I feel like he had an album that came out. There was a sex tape. I feel like he was releasing an album or promoting something when the Meek stuff came around. You know what I mean, and the Meek accusations, I don't think people ever fully jumped into. The whole thing that included Sean Kingston and everything, and the club incident and whatnot. I don't think a lot of people fully jumped into that. Like, damn, Meek, like that's. I think people kind of felt like it was a little reachy. You know what I mean? It was a little reachy. We still got some diss songs out of it from Game. That's cool. I'm always for the music. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the real premise of supposedly where it started, I don't think everybody really jumped into that. Like, damn, Meek, that's messed up. I don't, you know what I mean? It felt a little bit like a reach, like people didn't just believe that Meek sent these cops or informed the police or whatever about the Game, but could be true. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Game is lying or nothing like that. I just felt a little reachy. You know what I mean? And once again, we're talking about this happening ironically at the time of rollouts or promoting something or albums coming out. You know what I mean? And here we are again. He's got another album coming out and this Eminem stuff. Now, for the sake of competition, you have to accept people wanting to say I'm a better rapper or I want to compete with you on beat or in bars. Gotta respect that. Gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all for it. But this is still hip hop. You know what I mean? So if Eminem happened to respond and we can get some dope diss tracks out of it, great. I'm listening to all of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to all of that. But it doesn't look like M is going to respond. And it looks like Game is once again doing something in a very timely manner. And I think that's the second reason why it starts to fall a little short. Now, let me say something positive about this diss track. I actually do like it though. Because if you're able to separate your view at is this rollout related or is this Game just taking a shot at somebody that most people already believe is a better rapper than him? If you separate those two things and you just purely look at the track, I don't think there's a lot to hate on from an artistry standpoint. I think some people get a little bit caught up and they got an issue with you're using his voice, you're kind of using his delivery the whole song. But I liked it. I saw the creativity in it. That's really what I did. And it takes a rapping ass motherfucker to sound anything like Eminem, especially if you're saying that, yo, he's using Eminem's flows. Well, if you can recreate Eminem's flows and come off like you're rapping like one of the best rappers of all time, it's not easy to do that unless you're a great rapper yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I try to see past the weeds in that sense. I try to look at it for that type of respect when I say artistry wise, creativity wise, as far as the things that he's saying and how he's putting some of them little bridges and the hooks and some of those bars together, and he's painting certain first and third person pictures at times. I like the creativity of it. I like it. I like it. And at the end, I don't remember the actual bars, but he's kind of like telling him, like, don't be lazy, pick up your pen. So he's asking him, like, compete then. You know what I'm saying? Compete. And who wouldn't want to back and forth with fucking Eminem? Anybody would, especially if you're up and comer, or your career is on its decline, or you're trying to, get some notoriety. And I'm not saying any of those apply to game. I'm just saying a lot of people will fully take advantage of an opportunity to go back and forth with Eminem. You know what I'm saying? Like most rappers would. Most rappers. So that's where I sit with it. You know what I'm saying? I like the track. It's not a groundbreaking diss track. It's not going to go down as one of the best diss tracks of all time or nothing like that. But I like it for what it is. It's just, I know there's that other element that makes it a slight turnoff. No ideas original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. Shout out to Nas and the Lost Tapes, right? I mean, so drill is very popular. And then, of course, you got Illmatic and Stillmatic, two classic Nas albums. Of course, Nas is an artist that is idolized by many rappers and many of his peers. So Drillmatic, that's a cool little name. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool little name for an album. So I do want to check it out because Game has good albums under his belt too. Let's not bullshit. Not just his first album. And there you go again. We got to separate the view of, the politics and the other discussions and the arguments from the actual music and the songs and the artistry. And when I say this side, I'm talking about, who wrote these songs, or did 50 write half of the album or whatever. They're still going back and forth about that type of shit till today. Recent interviews, who wrote this, who wrote that. Cool. From a historic standpoint, I'm interested. Who wrote what? All right, cool. But past that, when I just look at the music, if I like it, I like it. Period. So that first album is a classic. You know what I'm saying? I like Jesus Piece a lot too. Jesus Piece is one of my favorite Game albums. You know what I mean? So Game is very, very capable of putting out some dope music, some dope albums. I want to check that out. Next topic. So before we even jump into that, let me ask y'all, what y'all think about this view right here? I know a lot of y'all already seen this layout, this setup that I got going on for my podcast that I think I'm going to go with. But y'all been seeing a different view of the videos that I've been dropping so far. Y'all been seeing a different angle. You know what I mean? So I got two angles. I finally figure out how to use both. So for example, here's the second view right here. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all like more. Do y'all want to see me use both? Do you want to see me use maybe this view when I'm rocking with guests and I'm doing interviews and I got people coming on with me? And the other one when I'm rocking out dolo and I'm doing certain topics or whatever? Or just randomly, just produce the damn podcast. You know what I'm saying? And flip through both views and just give us some good content, ARP. But let's jump into this topic. This is another one that I was chopping up recently with my brother. And it's always been interesting to me. I pay attention to fads, how they come and go. I pay attention to things that I feel are done and said because they're popular, as if that really is what they're about. They still try to uphold these sayings or these cliche things that we do because it's popular, or their man said it, or the whole hood. That's how the whole hood is rocking. But this whole get it out the mud thing, right? There's even songs to this day. I might damn near know word for word. Get it out the mud. What's that? The one was that Future and Little Baby? You know what I'm saying? Dope ass track. But it's kind of becoming, for me personally, something that I feel could be hypocritical to a degree, or could be constricting to our people. Because we got this weird way of looking at things in terms of how we achieve success. And when I say we, I mean Black culture. It's weird sometimes. I feel like we can paint ourselves in a corner without realizing it, and we pass down some of these cliches and some of our cultural ways and some of our politics and some of our slang and certain things that we deem as street code, even to people that's not in the street. We pass these things down to these young people, these young kids, and the next generation. And some of them are not healthy for success. Get it out the mud. Let's talk about it. So the reason why I get it out the mud is something to be proud of. is because everybody wants to be looked at for their hard work. Everybody wants to be recognized for saying that, I had to amass something, achieve something, or build something from the ground up, especially if it's on my own. Everybody wants to say that they've done something on their own. Let's jump to this point for a second, okay? I don't know too many people that are successful that have had zero help. I don't even know how possible that is. Regardless of how talented you are, how hot you were, you could have been 50 Cent. It was still Dr. Dre and Eminem that said, yo, we're going to do this. We're going to push this through the roof now. Some of y'all must have probably forgot that double XL cover and how huge and epic that was of Eminem, Dr. Dre, and 50 Cent. But that's another reason why 50 Cent gives so much praise to Eminem, because no matter how big 50 Cent was going to be, he was always going to be one of the biggest things coming up and coming out in this culture, in this industry. But he knows how much Eminem still helped to play a part. And same for Dr. Dre. That's why you see people have these lifelong, eternal alliances and praises and appreciations towards certain people, because they know deep down inside whether I was going to get it a different direction or whether I was still going to be super successful. Either way, that person was still involved and played a major part. Let's look at this from a different perspective. And I've seen this recently over the whole topic of LeBron James and his son. Now, remember, it was controversial when Bron first dropped that, what was it, a press conference or an interview or whatever, and he was saying, look, you want me on your team, I guess at his, the end of his contract when he gets to it, to his next deal. You want me on your team, sign Bronny, put my son on your team. And there was a lot of uproar about that. Some of our biggest NBA analysts, didn't like that. I seen sports media, sportscasters, podcasts, a lot of people's, kind of not liking that, kind of feeling like LeBron was forcing his son on the NBA, or you're shorting Bronny by putting your legacy in front of his, or you're putting a shadow over him, or you're already putting a bullseye on him. That, like, same thing that happened, from Lonzo and LaMelo Ball and all that, whatever, or the Ball family. Like, okay, that's y'all reaction to that. That's how y'all take that. Cool. But this whole thing of never needing help in our culture, why do we look down on each other for passing things down, or for giving things to the next generation, or for people even born with a silver spoon in their mouth? We heard that term for how long? For ages, for generations. I wasn't born with no silver spoon in my mouth, right? Shout out to Gilly. I remember one time I seen a Gilly podcast or a blog or something like that, and Gilly was like, "Yo, who are we kidding? If you grew up in the projects, that means that your parents was fucked up." Now, before anybody gets offended at Gilly saying that, let's just be real once again, because this is the Sorry It's True podcast. If your parents lived in the projects, right? They didn't have the opportunities, or they weren't in the position to have you growing up in, like, let's say, a mansion. Let's just go from one extreme to the other. Like, you didn't grow up in a mansion because that's not where your parents lived. Because we all lived, well, most of us lived with one or both of our parents when we was little kids, right? You come from your family's home. You come from your parents' home. But something about our culture makes us feel like you're wrong, or you're bad, or you're corny, or you're lame, or you don't deserve it. You didn't get it from the mud. I don't get that. I don't get that. Because I would assume that most of us, when we bust our ass in this world, we want to pass something down to our children. No? Yes? No? Am I wrong? Do you not want to hand something down to your kids? I mean, is that a bad thing? If I gave you the option right now, if you have children, if you have a son, a daughter, daughters, sons, multiple, whatever, if you have children right now, if I said your child could have a silver spoon in their mouth throughout their entire childhood, would you say no? I'd rather, raise my child in the projects. Let them run back and forth to the store with food stamps, and let them see what it is to grow up as a child that doesn't have anything. Would you rather that? I think a lot of people would choose to have their child with the silver spoon. Let them grow up under that millionaire fucking roof and household. No? Why do we promote opposite as if that's a bad thing? So going back to LeBron and his little son Bronny, look at what LeBron has done. We was just talking about the billionaire shit, the billionaire line from Jay-Z, right? The man is a billionaire. How many NBA players do we know of that are billionaires? If I really had to guess, I would just be like MJ and Bron. Like, I don't, who else? Oh, wait, Shaq. I really think Shaq is a billionaire on the low because he's got his hands in so many different things. He's super mogul, super business, super like Shaq is through the roof. So if I had to guess, I might say Shaq, and he's not even playing anymore. You know, Bron is still playing, but I would say Shaq, MJ, and LeBron. I'm gonna check that out. I got to pull up that fact. But point being, LeBron has the career that he has. He makes the moves that he's made. You know what I'm saying? We're not even talking about the craft itself, what it takes to be arguably the best player of all time. We have debates of LeBron and Michael Jordan. So we're not even focused on what it takes to be that, what it takes to be the best in such a mega arena like basketball, because basketball is played on every inch around this globe, and he's looked at as top one or top two by the masses. So scratch what it takes to get there. Look at what type of career he's having. We're talking about movies and business endeavors, even just being LeBron James. You know how hard that is, how much pressure's on your shoulders, how many people you directly and indirectly employ. The man hasn't even really gotten in trouble. You know what it takes to be that much of a megastar and stay out of trouble? No scandals or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even megastars like Kevin Hart or whatever, like we see things come up in their careers. It's like, oh, there's scandals or it mars their image for a moment. We just had that with Will Smith. For a moment, we was looking at Will Smith like, yo, he could be a black president. Fast forward, people are saying, damn, Will, you set us back because you just slapped the shit out of Chris Rock, right? So that's what it takes to stay clean at that level of LeBron James. The man hasn't even been in trouble. So you have this whole mega career that LeBron James has put together on the talent side, at the balancing act, on the business side, his family's. You have this whole mega world that this man is juggling. And he's so powerful and he's done so much and he's paid so many dues. He's able to hand that down to his son to a point where his influence could say he's not even top 10 in the country right now, his son, but he's guaranteed a spot in the NBA so that he has an opportunity to play ball on television and earn himself mega contracts for playing what is now his favorite thing to do, which is play basketball. Express his God-given talent now. How is that a bad thing? Why would we be mad at LeBron for that? I wish somebody would just hand me shit like that. And I don't even want to say that it's handed because his son is talented. His son is talented. But still, people are going to look at him like, yeah, but you ain't the next LeBron James. You really getting the extra push because of LeBron. So what? So what? Like when did it become a bad thing to give shit to our people or to our family or to our children? If you can give somebody that silver spoon to grow up with, you do it. Or else your whole shit is backwards, if you ask me. I don't even wish jail on my worst enemy. Let's paint a very logical perspective here of what we're seeing our culture and our people say to each other. All right. The same, I'll use rap. I'll use a rapper, right? Let's use a rapper. I feel like the same rapper that'll get on beat or get on a song and talk about killing a black man, talking about he wants to erase somebody off of this earth. He wants to destroy somebody's lives. He'll shoot up his house. He'll kill his mother, his father, his child, whatever. Somebody will kill you, but they don't want to see you in jail. I don't get it. Let me throw a saying at y'all that's very popular, right? And tell me that they don't contradict each other. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. right? For those that don't understand what that means is, you got your pallbearers on the side of a casket. Those are the six people that carry the casket, like, out of like the wake towards the actual burial site and stuff like that, or sometimes to and from even different parts of after somebody passes, like the different services and stuff. But you have pallbearers, the people that carry the casket. Obviously there's 12 people on a jury panel to decide your fate, whether you're guilty, not guilty. You'd rather be alive, which is judged by 12, than carried by 6, which means that you're in a casket, you're dead, right? That's because death is final. Some people are going to jail or going to prison. They're spending a couple months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, maybe even 10 years. You know what I'm saying? We see young folks that go away, somebody in their 20s, they come out in their 30s. This whole thing about I'd rather see my enemy free. Now, if you're saying that, and when people say that, if they're saying it from the standpoint of that's my ops, so if they're free, then I get the opportunity to get at them. I don't want, some jury to decide their fate. I want to decide their fate. Well, then more power to you if that's your position. But I feel like at least 8 out of 10 times when I hear that, it's not somebody that's saying that from, oh, that's my enemy standpoint, and I want my opportunity to get to them instead of them sitting in jail. I just be hearing it said just out of commonality. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's the way of the world. We don't wish jail on nobody, no matter who they are. Let me paint y'all a different scenario, because I be hating when we pick and choose. I hate when we pick and fucking choose. Here's a historic example. George Zimmerman, right? We know what he did. Wasn't we in uproar when he was found innocent or when he was lit back on the street? Right? Wasn't we in uproar? Or was, as a community, what were we all screaming, no, 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 free him, free him, free him, because we don't wish jail on anybody? Why was it circumstantial then? Why was it different then? Are we saying that we only, apply this type of code if it's a street situation? I'm really, really trying to understand. Does it come from the fact that, in our community, we would rather police ourselves? Is that really where it comes from? So I don't know. It really confuses me a little bit that, the same person that would wish death on you would wish you to not be in jail. And that's for y'all to decide as individuals. Me personally, like I said, death is the ultimate thing to avoid for all of us. Survival, right? Probably then jail, right? It's like you want to avoid death, jail, diseases, stuff like that. But death is always going to be number one, unless you just don't value your own life. You know what I'm saying? Or unless you're suicidal or something like that. But death is always going to be, for most people, the top thing to avoid. I guess I say that to say, whether it ruffles feathers or not, my own personal morals or values, I don't wish death on people as much as maybe has become popular these days, especially within our music. I don't wish death like that, because once again, it's so final. I don't think that's a good energy to carry. I mean, even if you look at the music industry, right? The music industry supports their own a lot, as far as, expressing when people are locked up, free this person, free that person. That's dope. I don't see any of these artists lining up talking about free R. Kelly. I don't see them walking around with free R. Kelly t-shirts. Why? Because they're not batting an eye of why he's in jail. They're like, fuck him, because they feel like maybe he's done shit with kids. You know what I'm saying? So you don't see people talking about free R. Kelly. I mean, so I don't get it. Once again, what side of the fence are you standing on? Is it jail period in general? We should never wish that on anybody. We should always want people to be home and be out and be free, and we police ourselves. Or is it, nah, we only want you to be in jail if you're George Zimmerman? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one is it? Which one is it? It's just very, very conflicting for me when I hear people that'll wish death on somebody talking about, but I don't ever want to see that same person have jail time. If I could wish death on somebody, I damn sure could wish jail time on somebody. Or maybe I'm the one that got it backwards. All right, here's one that I definitely need a late pass on. some of the people that have followed me on the battle rap side over the years, I've done blogs about my movie collection and my music collection. Y'all know I'm a collector, I'm an archiver of great entertainment, classic movies, classic series. But I need a late pass from y'all. Uh, I really must apologize for waiting all the way until 2022 to finally watch The Sopranos. Yes, I've never watched The Sopranos before. All right, so I'm late to that shit. But I'm at season 5 right now. First and foremost, I think it's a great show. I just don't know why it's so super critically acclaimed as like one of the top 3 shows of all time. I hear that about The Sopranos. I hear that The Sopranos is like one of the best pieces of TV ever. I don't see it. I don't see that. But before I go there, let me tell y'all about, some shows that I look at as classic pieces of television. Martin. Martin to me is like a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Where every episode doesn't necessarily have any connection to the previous episode. The only time we really saw, the Martin series connecting certain storylines across multiple episodes is like when his mind was messed up. He had to get his mind right, and he went and did that monk shit. You know what I'm saying? He joined that little cult or whatever. You had that. You had towards the end where they consistently had to show them in different places, like kind of showing that they was broken up and they was going through a separation or whatever because they had their real life shit. What else? What else? What else? What else was a series? Him going to Hollywood, trying to leave radio and I think become an actor or get on TV or whatever. They did that for a couple episodes, right? But when you talk about a TV series, that's like a Sopranos. That's like a Stranger Things. That's like a Wire. That's, what I'm saying? This is something that is commonly strung out across multiple episodes and multiple seasons with commonality. Not just this show has nothing to do, or this episode has nothing to do with the last episode, like a Martin, okay? When it comes to TV series, the best show of all time, in my opinion, is The Wire. I can do a whole podcast about why The Wire is great, why The Wire is classic, why The Wire is genius, why The Wire is light years ahead of almost anything else that is ever put on TV. I can do a whole podcast on that. But The Wire is one of them super critically acclaimed TV shows of all time. As of recent, I just mentioned this one, Stranger Things. I got into Stranger Things late. I thought it was going to be some sci-fi type show that was really more for kids. So I put it down after like getting halfway through season 1. And boy, I was wrong because I came back recently and I started to binge it. You know what I'm saying? I got through season 2, which I thought was a bad season. A lot of shows have bad season 2s. I love season 2 of The Wire, but a lot of people don't really care too much for season 2 of The Wire. I feel like the same thing just happened with The Sopranos. The same thing definitely happened with Stranger Things. Season 2 was horrible to me. It was whack. But by the time you get to season 3 and the recent season 4 is what they just did, right? Crazy with Vecna and all that type of stuff. Yo, it's sci-fi and it's based around these kids or whatever, but from the acting to the directing to the storylines to the subplots to the dilemmas, everything. Stranger Things is an amazing series. I see why it's so popular and why it's breaking Netflix records and all that type of stuff. Another classic one, the Ozarks. Ozarks is crazy. I think that's a classic TV show. I like Narcos a lot. Love Narcos. The haunting at Hill House. That is dope to me. That is a dope TV series to me. But the reason why I mention those series, and now I'm gonna paint this point that I'm talking about with The Sopranos, why it's lacking something major to me. All of those series that I just mentioned, from The Wire to Stranger Things to Narcos to Ozarks, and the list goes on. They have a very strong common theme that spans the entire show, every season. For example, in The Wire, right? Now, of course, The Wire itself comes in the literal form of these detectives' methods towards taking down these crime organizations or these crime groups or these street crews, right? But whether it was The Wire at this moment or not, a wire, right, being used to take these crews down. The common dilemma was this team of detectives and these different groups of street cartels or street organizations or whatever, and this constant, back and forth of how they can either evade or take each other down. That is consistent from season 1 all the way through season 5. Stranger Things, the upside down world. That is a consistent entity and problem, the biggest dilemma from season 1 through season 5. It's just unfolding, so you learn more and more about it. But that is the constant, the upside down world and the things that's coming from the upside down world trying to leach into the real world. That's the constant. The Haunting at Hill House. What the fuck is going on in this house that's driving these people insane or killing people? Or, like, what is it about this house? You figure that out by the time you get to the end. But that constant begins, or that theme begins from the very beginning. Something constant. For the Sopranos to be so critically acclaimed, it lacks that. It doesn't have that, to me, right? What is the most consistent or constant theme or storyline of the Sopranos? Tony Soprano and probably his wife. I guess you can paint a sub storyline to that of Tony and women, period, because every season he's having these different issues with women or these different relationships. And, he's kind of painted as a ladies' man. So whether it's the situation with his wife, whether it's the situation with, the girl he starts to rock with, that was the car dealer, whether it was that young Russian girl, whether it's the other girl that he took from his captain that died, the one that was always pulling pranks and trying to be funny, whether he comes close to messing with his nephew's girl. You know what I'm saying? Like his psychiatrist, he comes onto her. He tries to get with her. They even kind of got him flirting with the old girl that he met at his father's or his mother's gravesite. They even got him flirting with her a little bit. Like they even create a little weird energy there. And I'm almost done with season 5. If something happens, if he takes down this old lady, I'm definitely on 1000% track with the things I'm interpreting from this damn show. If he takes this old ass lady down, but those are the most consistent pieces of the show. Tony Soprano and women. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine, but there's too much going on around that for that to stand out as a commonality or the common theme. Because the Sopranos really puts in front, I feel like, the life of the mafia or the life of a mob boss. And that's what kind of makes things so shifty in the show, because it almost just feels like a day in the life series. Whether he's dealing with issues with his family, his son, growing up and becoming a badass. I can't stand that fucking kid. And he's a shitty actor. But, his daughter, growing into womanhood, that's not easy for a father to watch. They're painting that picture, his issues with his wife, because in that lifestyle, not just the mafia, but also within that culture, you know what I'm saying? Like they had the wives and the real I love you girlfriends on the side. I think they said that like in Goodfellas. It was like, the wives was on Wednesdays and the girlfriends was on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? The girlfriends they're in love with. They love them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a side chick. It's a girlfriend. It's an all-out girlfriend that's on the side of your wife. You know what I'm saying? So you got that. You got obviously extortions, and you got, all the different elements of having to earn within a crime family, the different families having friction, all this different type of shit. A couple people die, you know what I'm saying? But none of it is really strung together in a major consistent theme across all these different seasons of the Sopranos that gives it that base, that something that you can try to see unfold to all the way through the end. And I wonder if that's going to be the reason why so many people say that they hate the ending of the Sopranos. I remember whatever happens at the end, I didn't get there yet, and I ain't going to read the comments of this video right here just in case. I don't want no damn spoilers. But I remember the Sopranos, as it was debuting, was such a big series that so many people were talking about how let down they were at the ending. I wonder if that's because they didn't know what fucking direction to go in, because there was no major theme to close off. You get to the end of the wire. You know what I'm saying? Oh, do they evade the police? Do they die? Do they go to jail? As far as the detectives, like McNulty it's really his story when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's full of himself a little bit, and he thinks the shit doesn't stink, but at the same time, he's real natural police. You know what I'm saying? As they say, and his story has to have some type of ending. So at the end, he loses his shield, he loses his job, he sacrificed his job, but he sacrificed his job to take down this crime element that he was after the entire show, all 5 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So the way you wrap up the closing of these series, these TV shows, is by giving the viewers the ending in some form of what has been the common theme or storyline throughout the whole thing. And if The Sopranos just has a bunch of smaller, loose little storylines, then nothing is really there. Like even the cop presence, I thought that was going to be a big thing that formulated. It was like season 1 or season 2. You know what I'm saying? The detectives, they got into Tony's house. They planted a wire in the basement. His daughter found it by accident. It was because they implanted it like in like a little light bulb. I mean, a light fixture. And she happened to take that with her to her college room. So now the bug is out the house, and nobody even knew it was a bug. You know what I'm saying? And then it's gone. The police presence is gone. They showed like 1 or 2 episodes where the cops was following him around, tailing him and whatnot, and then it was gone. So we don't have that consistent pressure of feeling like, damn, like, are they going to get taken down by the police? That presence isn't even there. So it's like, what is the major storyline of The Sopranos? There isn't one. It really is the trials and tribulations of being a mob boss and a committed family man. So all they do is they continue to create different dilemmas each episode or each series, each season around that. And that to me starts to bring you down from being one of the best TV shows of all time. Because you just don't, that's a big element that is just not available. I think that you need that to have a classic best of type of TV show. You know what I'm saying? So that's my feel. I feel like I've watched enough of The Sopranos because I think there's 6 seasons and I'm almost towards the end of season 5. So I feel like I've watched enough of it at this point. And I already am pretty confident of how much feedback I've listened to the whole world say that the ending is bad. I feel like I have enough now at this point to give it a good assessment. So I'm a little let down. It's a good watch though. Don't get it twisted. I don't want this to sound like, hey, don't watch The Sopranos if you haven't watched it. I just don't understand why it got that big of a label, like one of the best shows of all time. There are a couple weird things in there too. Like it's not just street and urban and black culture where we despise a police element and snitching so much, right? The mafia and that Italian and Sicilian culture and all that, they had those same principles of like, ain't no ratting. Like, think about it. It's like rat. Like they call Sammy Bull the biggest rat of all time and whatnot, right? So they have those same principles in that culture of the mafia and that lineage, but Tony Soprano technically is a snitch, no? Right? Did I miss something? In season 1, Tony Soprano, who was on his way to being a mob boss of that family, there's a teacher or somebody like that, I think in season 1, that messed around with a young girl, and Tony wanted to kill the guy. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to put the hit on him, and one of his best friends, the one that is the restaurant owner, convinced him, like, I thought about it too, and let's not do it. Let's don't kill him. Like it's not for us to do. Like, just let life take its course, or let God be his judge, or whatever. And Tony was so conflicted about that. Remember? So that's when he was drunk that night. He was laid out on the floor, super drunk from drinking, because he was so conflicted about that decision because he wanted to kill him. And I think his wife comes home and is like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And he's like, "I didn't do it." She don't even know what he's talking about, right? But he's like, "I didn't do it." And in the next like moment, they showed it like the police arresting the teacher or whatever. It's because he called the cops on him instead of killing him, right? So that gets a pass. Like, is it pass? We just gonna be like, all right, this mob boss didn't just, call the cops or somebody, right? I mean, shit. Look at how y'all treated Cameron for struggling with a question like, "What do you do if a serial killer lives next to you?" Right? Remember that, Cam? What do you do if a serial killer lives next to you? They killed him for that. People like 50 Cent dragged him for that fucking answer for like a year. Like, Cameron was the laughing stock of the town for the way he answered that question. Because Cam was so set on being careful of not answering in a way that can be misconstrued as being a snitch, or getting police involved to take down somebody that's doing something that isn't good for the community. So touching kids or being a serial killer or something like that is deemed not good for the community, right? But Cam didn't want to go anywhere close to I'm calling the cops. He didn't want to answer like that. And the way he answered, they dragged him for it. But it's okay for Tony Soprano because he decided, I'm not going to kill this guy. Instead, I'm just going to call the cops on him, and got him locked up. So it's like, once again, are we picking and choosing when it's okay to snitch or not, or when it's good to have police presence or not? Or it's weird. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, he did that. And I think that was season 1. And I think that was kind of swept under the rug. I thought that was a little odd. I was like, word? So closing this episode out, I want to give a big salute and shout out on the battle rap side of things. For everybody that knows me from battle rap, that may begin to watch this podcast. Big salute and shout out to all the season 1 and season 2 brick by brick battlers that just battled and had wild ass matchups and performances this past Saturday. Shout out to Lawrence and Wing for putting together some crazy matchups. I think on this channel here, you're gonna see some what could be considered classic battles that drop from that card. I think the battle of the night looks like it's probably Coach Coleon versus Luck Dollars. I think that's the battle of the night. Some could argue that it was XL versus Remedy Loco. So those two battles might be classes. I can't wait to see them on footage. It was shot by Ruin Your Day. Shout out to Ruin Your Day and Avocado. But we're gonna drop those on the channel ASAP. Those two battles was crazy. And there was a bunch of other people that went off in the building too. The ladies put on. There's a lot of fellas that put on as well. I'm not going to go through every single matchup name by name right now. Keep your eyes on the channel if you want to see those battles and see the turnout of some of those. Some of those artists need to be signed immediately to RBE. So congratulations on that, because I feel like you've shown enough to the fans and to RBE from a talent standpoint. So we'll take you up to the next level. But it's still going to be on you to promote yourself, get yourself out there, continue to prove to the fans why you should be a staple within battle rap. All right. At RBE, we want to help each other get to these higher places, but we cannot assume full responsibility for anybody to become a star. We don't sell no dreams over here. We will help you get to wherever you're trying to go. But I ain't taking no full responsibility for anybody saying that they want to be a star, because we can't do it all for you. A big responsibility of that lands on your own shoulders to prep your rounds and perform and bring in those intangibles that make you interesting and market yourself and promote. It's very rare to have a battle rap superstar that's only great at rapping. You got to have the intangibles. You got to have the image. You got to have the promotion. You got to have the following. You got to have the marketing. And the battlers find ways to do that and market themselves. Averb used to call himself Captain Marketable. That was one of his names, right? You know what I'm saying? But people like Averb understood early, like, he's got to find ways to connect with these fan bases and make himself one of the top guys. So shout out to y'all, everybody that's on their way up. A lot of y'all will see on the October card. Some of y'all we will see on the November card. And once again, salute and shout out to Wingdon Lawrence and everybody that put on this past Saturday. That brick by brick 4 card was nice, man. Y'all got some crazy battles that you're going to see dropping now from that event. And yes, keep an eye out for October and November. RBE is having one of its most productive years in terms of content that we're putting out. I feel like we've done about 3 brick by brick cards. We've also done 3 straight to it cards. And I just named 2 more cards that's coming in October and November. So that's the most volume that we've ever had in any year as far as getting these battles out to y'all. So thank you everybody for supporting and subscribing to the channel. Much more on the way for y'all. We working. And I think that's a good segue for me getting out of here, man. I'm going to leave off today's episode with Bar of the Week. All right, I'm going to keep it battle rap to close this one out. Bar of the Week. When I say bar of the week, it doesn't mean that it's a bar or a battle that happened this week. It's just the line or the bar or the setup or the moment from a battle that I am choosing for this week. And at this point, this man, he's really, really starting to catch my eye. It's like, I see the star potential. I see it. He's got the talent. You might see him end up with some pretty big opportunities before the year is over. And I want to see him continue to build, man. Coach Corleone. This one right here was crazy. I'm out of here, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Enjoy this bar. I'll catch y'all back on the next one.
Hey, yo. I'm up early with the trap. The heron. Crack in some good dope. The fiends could shoot up and still stop themselves from falling like Batman gun, you goddamn scum. I say I'm up early in the trap. With the heron, crack in some good dope. The fiends could shoot up and still stop themselves from falling like Batman gun, you goddamn scum. I ain't pay this much for a Glock to talk. I ain't argue with a missile. Hey fam, stall, you get an issue. Hey, remember as a kid, you would take a stick and make a gun out? Yeah, I'm gonna branch off and get a pistol, nigga. You get the pistol. Boy, that was fucking crazy.